Hello. I'm doing the streaming thing now, I guess. Hello. I don't know how to start these things. I'm very nervous. I understand that not many people are gonna be watching this even, and that's fine. I mainly want to do this to help motivate me to keep doing this bigger project that I want to work on. So, and I'm hoping that along the line, I can sort of like keep this as a sort of like documentation of how the process went for this game. I should probably mention I want to make a video game. I have an idea for the title of it. It's called Light of the World. I don't know if that's gonna change or not, but we're just gonna see what happens. And yeah, I thought I'd stream the process, at least a little bit of it. I don't know how often I'm gonna be streaming. I don't know, like what my set schedule right now is maybe I'll stream like Monday, Wednesday, Friday from like 8 to 10, and then we'll just kind of see how it goes. But I'm hoping we can kind of keep a chill vibe over here. I don't exactly have any like moderators or, anything like that of the sort, but we're just gonna see how it goes, and I'm gonna be nervous, and that's how things always go. So this is gonna be great. I mentioned in the stream title that my character's name that I'm gonna be modeling is Jimmy, and if I could find the thing, this is he. This is who we're going to be making into a 3D model. He's a 10-year-old little boy who is going to be the protagonist. He's got a mom and a dad. He lives in Midtown Suburbia, I guess. I don't know the name of the town yet, but he lives in a cul-de-sac or like a modern day house. And he's got a mom, and his dad is off at work doing research. He works at a research facility on how to travel between worlds, which is fun. And I'm taking very heavy inspirations from Kingdom Hearts, and I'm gonna stop talking now. We're gonna get started. I also saved this. You can't really, well, you can kind of see it, but this is the construction I used to make the drawing I made. And we're gonna use this to sort of define the body shape for the character. So we're just gonna get right into it. I'm just gonna kind of drag this in here. And then there it is. It's very good. And we're just gonna kind of... So I suppose what these streams will mostly be about is just I'm gonna walk you through my process of how I do things, how I set these kind of things up. I also have, I have the actual Clip Studio file up here as well, and I have info right here. Age 10, Jimmy, 3'7". That's important because that is going to be the height of the character. We're just kind of line his feet up, and I got a real nice and dandy little line down there to help me do so. So very good. We can make it as precise, make it really precise as we need to. So his feet are on the ground there. Very good. This will be the front view. I'm just kind of line this up as best as I can so that it's like right in the center as best as I can. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then yeah, and then we're just gonna kind of use the handy dandy measuring tool. Let's make sure we're using the right unit. Metric, very good. So 3'7". What is that in meters? Because that's what Blender and Unreal Engine are native with. They're not native in the imperial system, they're native in the metric system. So what is 3'7" in centimeters? That is 109.22. So we're just gonna drag you up here. So that's 1 meter and 9 centimeters, right? That would be about going. Right there all we gotta do is scale from the 3D cursor till it's roughly there. Beautiful. And again, nothing's perfect, nothing has to be perfect. And then we're just gonna kind of push this back by like, sure, that looks good. Just gonna duplicate it, rotate it on the Z-axis by 90. Yep. No, actually, because gotta be 80, because we're trying to make this as, you know, realistic as possible. It wouldn't make sense if like this was the front view and then all of a sudden he was facing the wrong way over here, which actually I think, is he facing the wrong way? Let's just line him up here. He's not facing the wrong way. So like, if this is the front view, then I press 3. That's the side view. Yeah. Because it's rotating the camera this way when I press 3. So it's hard to tell, but right orthographic. So I believe that's so hard to tell. I'm just gonna block in the front view real quick by adding a cube. And then I'm gonna go into edit mode here, place a loop cut down the middle, and just get rid of all these vertices on the side. And we're gonna mirror like this so that we can edit it. Turn on clipping so that when we move it around, the middle doesn't move. And then now we can model the character from both sides. We don't have to worry about the left side. We can just worry about the right side. That's pretty dandy. We're just gonna not be perfect with it. Gonna kind of get the basic shapes in. Oops. That, I want to select all of those. Do that, since neck. We'll just make his neck look a bit more neck shaped. Through to the top of his head. And then we're gonna add a loop cut here and just kind of give it a head shape. It's like that. Kind of give this a neck shape, add a little more detail. Give the chest a little bit more proportion. Do that, give him some shoulders. And again, nothing has to be perfect. Just kind of blocking in the details right now by just adding a bunch of loop cuts. I actually did a character before this. That's a spam bot. That's a spam bot. How do I do? There we go, much better. I know that happens to a lot of first-time streamers. I know you get a lot of spam, but luckily I know somewhat how to defend it. And I mean, I'm not very handy with mods right now, but maybe one day we'll get there. Now, the feet are a bit non-centered, but we'll get to that in a bit. That's going to be his basic leg shape. And we'll just kind of, and we're not worried about thickness yet. We're just worried about the front view for now. Kind of extrude out his arms. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. So if a mesh is like crooked like this and you want to straighten it out, I always scale and then the direction it's crooked in, so in this case the x-axis, and then 0 from the bounding box center, and that just straightens it out there. So we got that nice and clean. We're just gonna move some of these to match the proportions a little bit. move this over here. Beautiful, beautiful. Kind of move you up over here. Kind of make some hands. We're not worried about fingers yet. Just worried about the hands. And then I'm just gonna kind of make some loop cuts for the thumb. That we're gonna extrude out eventually, but not yet. All right, yeah, that looks a little silly from the side, but we'll fix that in a sec. I just gotta figure out if I need to, because this is correct, but it just needs to be pushed to the other side. So I just 3x minus 10, and that should put it on the other side. There we go. Beautiful. So now, fun part. We get to worry about the thickness. We're just gonna take these vertices that we already have. We're just gonna bring them in, and then we'll add more if we need to. If we need to add in some detail, which it looks like we might, we could just bring this down here, kind of accommodate for the little ankle there. And we can just kind of bring this one in a little bit. Now this is the size of a shoe, not the size of his foot, so eventually I might want to change this, but when we get into the next step, we will definitely... So the next step is we're going to add a subdivision modifier to all this, and you'll see what that does in a bit. But it basically makes the mesh more detailed on like all accounts. So it takes all these faces I'm putting in and then just puts a loop cut there and a loop cut there for like every single face, which will give it a lot more detail. And it'll also smooth those faces, which should make the mesh a wee bit smaller than this. So got something to take into, oops, didn't mean to hide that. Something to take into account. So as far as those feet go, they might be a bit smaller, but we might have to make some adjustments according to everything else. Actually, I don't know if I actually wanted to add in the arms yet, because I don't want to have to accommodate for that when I'm doing the thickness, so I'm just going to get rid of these. And then we're just going to kind of keep going here. Let's see, I'm just going to dissolve edge. And then edge. We'll add that detail back in a sec. I think I made some n-gons though, so that's a problem. So an n-gon is a face with more than 4 vertices. Like this face has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an n-gon. We don't like those. So we're just gonna probably get rid of this face. And then get rid of this vertice. Trying to fix this. Oops. Did I? No, we're good. Gonna kind of add an edge here. This back. This is the process of me getting rid of the arms. Just made a little bit of a mistake there. And the only reason I got rid of the arms, oh, we want to get rid of these too. The only reason I got rid of the arms was because they were a bit distracting when adding in the thickness for the side view. So we're gonna focus on body with no arms. I'll add in the arms in a sec. And I want to add a loop cut here so that we can finer tune the adjustment of those things in a bit, not yet. So we're just gonna keep going. Gotta kind of adjust for the neck here. Bada bang, bada boom. There we go. I hope the sound is okay, you know, with the music and all. I did a few test recordings, so you know, music seems fine. I just, again, want to keep this a chill, you know, no stress come here to hang out, stream, and you know, I don't know, it'd be nice to have a couple of people watching, but again, that is not the concern. At the moment, I just want to make a video game, and that looks like pretty decent body shape, not gonna lie. Let's add in those arms again. So, we'll bring that detail back over here, and then we are going to, also I'm a little bit sick, so, but I did want to still stream today. Luckily I haven't started sneezing or anything. I was sneezing all day at work tonight. So hopefully that doesn't come back up. So far so good. Again, just gonna add back in those arms. Let's just drag this all the way in. Why not? That we have better arm positioning, better shoulder position. Let's just use that same, oops, didn't mean to do that. D0, there we go. Doing that same trick I was telling you about before. Just scale it on the Z-axis if it's a little crooked. There we go, beautiful. Now, I'm just gonna take all these faces and then just drag them out. SX0. What'll probably be good is I should probably have screencast keys so that you guys can see my button inputs. I feel like that'd be a kind of a useful tool to have about now. Let's see if I, you know what, let's see if I have it. If it says, I don't know if that's an add-on you gotta download or if it comes with Blender, but screen add, okay. I just say, should I keep? No, okay. So I have to probably download that, but that's fine. I'll do that later. Kind of drag you over here. And then again, we're not gonna worry about the thumb yet until we give this a bit more thickness. There we go. Now I don't have a top view of the model, but I do have side view with a little circle drawn in that basically represents the shape of the arm I want. It's not gonna be perfect, but we're gonna do the best we can. It's good to kind of do that. And then the wrist, usually smaller than the arm. We're just gonna kind of do that. Looks not bad. And then as for the hand, we're just gonna kind of have to eyeball it, which is fine. I'm gonna do a bit of that, a little bit of that, little bit of, oops, not that, like all those. Do a little bit of this, a little bit of this right there. There we go. Because see, the hand isn't really symmetrical with the arm. It kind of extends further where the thumb's at. A little bit. These edges kind of scale in. All these edges, please. Thank you. Kind of scale in, bring back over here. And then this is kind of where the thumb will go. Roughly, like the vertices. Bring it a little bit, and then when we extrude the thumb, just kind of extrude. So the thumb is roughly, oops, big, maybe. Or you know what? Better idea. We'll do the thumb when we do the sculpting. So this is the process. Is I just kind of got a base model right here. Then we can add in a few more details where we see fit. Not really too important. And then after that, we're gonna just go back into object mode. Take it out of that. That's a body shape. Sure, why not? That's a body shape. Then, as far as these edges go, I'm gonna kind of take this, Bring it out just a little bit. Just a bit. Just kind of do the same thing with this, just a little bit, just to kind of give it some curvature, some roundness, some rotundness, you might say. A little bit of that. There we go. And it's not perfect. It doesn't have to be. Got a wee bit of a body shape here. He's a bit of a chubby kid. So this should work, because we're gonna add a subdivision surface, and then we're just gonna kind of go in up the detail just a smidge, and then we're just gonna kind of fix some things that don't really make quite enough sense. So like for the arm, we can make this a little bit bigger here. This like just a wee bit bigger. Just for the hand. Let's kind of take these vertices. Maybe we can drag them up a little bit. Maybe we can drag all these vertices up. Why not? Kind of take these. Drag them up a bit. Oh yeah, that's giving it way more rotundness. That's what we like to see. Take all these, drag them out a little bit. It's good. Same on this side. Can't forget. I want to drag all these, if you please. Give it a bit more rotundness. Probably same. Oh, does that look? How are we looking? Not bad, not bad. It looks a little weird where the hand is, but that's just because we haven't added the thumb yet. This thumb is gonna go here. And there's a little bit that kind of bumps out where the thumb is around this area, so that should hopefully help with that. But in the meantime, we can also just make the wrist a little smaller. Oh, good. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Something like that. It's all about trial and error. Just looking at things and seeing what makes sense. And then just kind of taking a peek around everywhere and just being like, yep, does that make sense? Maybe. Maybe not. But who cares? We just got a basic body shape going on here. Looks pretty good. Why don't we save our project? Because this is the other character I was talking about. I'll show you him in a sec. Jimmy. Beautiful. And then let's rename this to be Base Mesh. Make a new collection to just put the reference. And we'll just kind of drag these in here. Beautiful. So we can turn that on and off whenever we please. So right now, just so that we could save what we got here, I'm just going to duplicate the base mesh, call this sculpt, and then we're just going to apply the modifiers. There we go. Beautiful. Work of art. Now, here comes the fun part. We're going to do some sculpting. So we're just going to go to the sculpting tab. We're just going to kind of center a camera on the object here. And I'm going to break up my pen tablet, which is underneath my keyboard here. I'm just going to break this bad boy out. There we go. Turn it on. Give me a sec. Gotta find the power button. There it is. And let's get started. We're just gonna kind of we're gonna enable X symmetry. We're gonna enable dynamic topology. Doesn't matter. And we're just gonna kind of get started. By just kind of deciding where I want to start here. I think I'll start with the belly area. We're just going to kind of grab the inflate brush, raise its size a little bit, and I'm not going to do it too roughly because all I'm doing is adding detail. That's what dynamic topology does, is it takes your model and it gives it 10 million more vertices to have to worry about. I'm just gonna, by lowering the pixel count, we're raising the amount of detail that it's giving the model. Then, what we can do, we can hold shift, go over it, smooth it out. Smooth it out. That's all we're doing. Gonna kind of come up here, give this a bit more detail. In the meantime, let's give him a chest. Separate the chest from the stomach a little bit, and also the stomach's looking a wee bit too round, or wee bit too square, is what I meant to say. So we're just gonna kind of give him a little bit of a belly there. Kind of bring these in, make it not so square. Bring this side in too. Just doing our best to make it look as convincing as possible. Now, this is basically going to be what all the clothes are going to go on top of anyway. Don't have to worry too much about specifics, but I do want it to look as accurate as possible, and this is probably what I'll be spending the most time doing. Oh yeah, those shoulders are not going to work. Those are way too broad. We're going to have to bring those in a little bit. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I should probably pull up my reference sheet. That would probably be important. The only thing is it's going to cover up my stream view. That's fine. I'm going to kind of come in here. Kind of bring in my reference sheet. Beautiful. And I should still be able to see the chat, just in case. I'll just kind of have this up while I'm working on this. And I'm using PureRef for my reference sheet. Basically all it does is you could just take images you find off of Google, and you could just drag and drop them in a big old space, and then you just have that on your other monitor while you are working on stuff. So I should probably have a muscle accurate anatomy sheet, because that's important. Human muscle reference. Got my pen in my mouth there for a sec. I'm just looking at Google real quick. I'm just gonna try and find a nice reference for human muscles, because that is going to be the main thing driving the detailing of the sculpting. And I'm getting this specific because I don't want to have like photorealistic clothing that kind of drape over a real blocky Roblox, character. So it's important to know, even if you're making a stylized character, it's important to know what the human muscles look like. Even if you don't know anything about anatomy, which I do not. So we're just gonna kinda, and I mean, even if he's got a little bit of a pudge here, we're just gonna draw on some abs, which we'll probably erase later. So like, just kind of mark where they might be. So like here, and then like big long one that goes down to the pelvis here. We'll just kind of draw that in, just to see how the muscles define the shape of the body. Like here I can kind of see it's a bit too square, so we'll just kind of bring that down a little bit. Grab the inflate brush. Holding control while you use a brush will do the opposite of what the brush normally does. So normally, inflate brush, drag it across, makes an obvious bump here, but if you hold control, it actually caves in the mesh, which is pretty useful. We're just gonna kind of draw in where the chest might be. So the chest kind of go here. roughly, maybe. I don't know. Which means the abs kind of have to move up a little bit. Just fine. Kind of do that, and then you have muscles that kind of wrap around the side of the body here. Then, excuse me, onto the back. We gotta put in the glutes. They're kind of right here-ish. Something like that. And then the legs actually go, so this muscle actually goes down here. Roughly. Which means this kind of goes down here a bit more. Just gonna kind of smooth that out. And all this is gonna be smoothed over later. We're just kind of blocking in where the muscle shapes are so that we know where the rest of the body parts go. So, kind of got muscles that go this way a little bit. They go roughly where the arms are. And then kind of got some muscles that go down here a little bit. And then back muscle kind of looks like this. And then that connects to your sort of neck muscles, which go out like this. We'll just do that. And then kind of connects to your neck like that. There we go. That looks like a blobby mess, but don't worry, we'll fix that in no time. We're just gonna kind of block in where the shoulder muscles are now. So, shoulder muscles. Start with the shoulder muscle. I have to admit, I don't know the names of any of these muscles. So we're just gonna kind of guess here a little bit. That's just the outline for that. And then it is bicep. Kind of starts. It's always hard to tell because the model I'm viewing isn't in a T-pose. So I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure it starts here because it's not on the top; it's on the side. And then when you flex your bicep to twist your arm, to make it go up. So it kind of starts there, and then on the back, it kind of does a little bit here, but like not much, not as much. So there's that little thing in the middle there. And then this is kind of where the elbow starts, right here. And then kind of got your triceps that go from the elbow at the top. At the top, right? Actually, no, not at the top. Blender's pretty generous about doing Control Z, but not very, so if you do too many strokes and you decide you want to get rid of it all, I think it only does like 10 undos, so gotta kind of be a little bit careful there. Yeah, no, it starts at the side. So kind of at the top, but not really. Kind of starts from over there, and then on the back, kind of wraps around to sort of form the shape of the little hump of the elbow there, and then we just kind of bring this in like that. And there we go. And then we just kind of make the arm a little bit more round. Now let's smooth everything out. And I know we're kind of getting rid of all the things that we drew in here, but we'll just kind of, I mean, this is a very exaggerated version of what this actually is going to be. All this is going to be covered up by a long sleeve shirt anyway. So we'll just kind of do our best. We'll kind of leave in little bits and hints of like where the elbow is and stuff like that. We're not going to actually, if we go to our smooth brush, kind of lower the detail size of that, and then we can go back to like say our inflate brush. If we hold shift and smooth, it is actually not smoothing as much, which is good. So just kind of do a little bit of that. And then let's add in more detail where the shoulder muscle is. Kind of smooth out the, we can make it a bit more impactful. And then we'll just kind of we'll just kind of do a little bit of that. Apologize if I'm not talking as much about like specific topics or anything. I'm just kind of let my mouth move while I work on this. You know, I'm just kind of on autopilot, really. All I want to do is describe the process of doing this while I'm doing it. And hopefully it's, you know, nice listening to. I just want this to be a chill, nice stream to listen to. But like, you know, I don't want you to be bored or anything. Because I know when you're streaming, kind of always got to be talking. Because I've seen a lot of people stream and it almost kind of feels like they forget that they're streaming a little bit, in that they're like just playing a game and they're just playing the game and they're not, you know, talking or giving their reaction or anything, which is, you know, it's fine. There's, you know, it's not bad per se, but when I watch streams, I like to, even if it's, you know, chill, you know, personality that, you know, comes from a person who doesn't really talk much, I still like to, you know, hear their thoughts on things every so often. And like you know, with these streamers that I'm talking about, they will still like, you know, chirp up and, you know, say little quips and things about either the game or like, you know, responding to chat messages and stuff, and that's fine. But I just always kind of feel like even if you got no one watching, you always want to be talking. Because you want every little second to be interesting. You want the person to like kind of know why they're coming to your stream when they could just be looking up like a playthrough of the game you're playing, really. But if you just like to see someone playing a game without them talking about it, you know, that's fine too. I know there are certain people out there who would really enjoy that. Because watching the playthrough of a game can be very satisfying, especially if the person's really good at it. I know, I've been watching a few Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer speedruns, and they are absolutely insane. I know I wanted to kind of get into it myself a little bit. Maybe I will. I don't want this channel to be nothing but art. I want to give it some variety a little bit. But, you know, I gotta say, there's some decent looking arms. Let's kind of work on the chest a little bit here. Kind of get rid of these blobby messes. And, you know, kind of draw in where everything's gonna go. Maybe we're a little bit too muscly on the top here. Let's kind of tone that down a little bit. I mean, this kid's 10 years old. He doesn't go to the gym. He plays video games. So, not that playing video games will guarantee you to be a little chubby, but you know, just kind of flatten this out a little bit. Beautiful. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I think I was talking about how I might want to try doing some Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizers on this channel as well. Just because watching them just looks so fascinating, looks so much fun. I've never done a randomizer before in my life. Maybe I should start off with something like Ocarina of Time or something. Just get started, because it's a game I'm more familiar with. But you know, I've been enjoying myself some Kingdom Hearts lately, you know? I've just been getting into playing 358 Days Over 2 on the DS. My roommate rented it. And it's fun. You know, I haven't gotten to any Disney Worlds yet, but, you know, sort of understanding the gameplay loop and, you know, understand what you're supposed to do and everything. So, nothing's too crazy yet. So, I don't know, maybe we'll get there eventually. Looks like a pretty decent looking chest we got over here. Not bad at all. Let's I focus on the legs next. Let's see, with legs we got, let's just kind of give everything some detail. Why don't we, just to start, we're just kind of lightly over everything, kind of smooth it, and just kind of, whatever, smooth it. And what's nice with dynamic topology is that if you get far away from the model and do detail, there's less detail. But if you get closer, there's more detail. So you can kind of determine how much detail you want based on how far away of the model you are. Which is kind of nice because usually when you want to do like close-up, like extreme detail, like say you're modeling a bodybuilder and you want like extreme muscle detail, you're generally working pretty close up to the model anyway. So it's nice to just be able to have that amount of detail when you're that close up. Or you can change it in the options here. I think it's smooth or relative detail, that's what it is. You can change that to constant detail and then, you can work the way you want to. So for the legs, they kind of go up. So we're just gonna kind of draw that in. The muscle actually goes this way, all the way up to where your hips are. This is your hip muscle, as a matter of fact, believe it or not. It just kind of goes around, connects to where the glutes go, and then around the side, it kind of just goes down. I think this is a leg muscle. Did you know that? This is a leg muscle. Kind of goes down this way, and then we'll just kind of connect it back up over here. Something like that. And then the front of the legs kind of got this going on. This kind of goes down where the knee is. So we'll just kind of put that in there. And then we just kind of got a muscle that just goes, whatever. Down this way. It's a little strip. Wee bit of a strip. It kind of curves up and goes back this way. We'll just kind of do that. We got a couple of strips going on here as far as the knee goes. So we'll just kind of add in a few more strips. Beautiful. And then I know where the knee is, it's not a flat blocky leg, it kind of curves in like that, curves out like that, and then we'll just kind of separate this a little bit. Because this is way too close together. This can't be touching. I know it's a very touching moment, but you got to separate the legs a little bit. Kind of smooth it out. Let's add less detail by zooming out and just kind of going over it. And then let's get back in here. So when you're smoothing, it doesn't actually add detail. It just kind of smooths whatever your mesh has got. So it's nice because you don't have to worry about it adding unnecessary detail where you don't need it to. And you might think, why don't you just add all the detail, if you're sculpting? Well, the problem with that is that basically when you're smoothing and you have like so much detail to smooth, it's actually harder to smooth. You gotta apply a bit more pressure to when you're smoothing, towards where you have less detail. Then when you're smoothing, it's actually really easy to manipulate and smooth, which is nice. So you can just kind of smooth this out back here. Separate these legs a little bit. I think these are as separated as they'll get. Something like that. And then that's where the hip muscle kind of goes a little bit. And then this will start down. So something like that. And then here, we don't have any of this because the back of the knee, it's kind of a little open spot there. So muscles kind of start over here. Just kind of draw that in. And then there's a little bit of stuff where the heel is, and the feet are not, how they should be yet. We're going to fix those feet. We'll just kind of do a little bit of that. That's kind of where that muscle goes, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? And near the front, it's just kind of strips. Go down. So we'll just kind of draw some strips. Now the knee might be a bit too low. What we'll do, take our grab brush, kind of pull it up a little bit. What's nice is that the knee, as well as the elbow, is exactly halfway between the length, the hip. So there's no need to worry about any exact, measurements or things like that. And then we're just gonna kind of block out the shape of the muscles here and the legs. Kind of goes out this way, just kind of do that. Don't want to make it too small because I don't want to grab a specific portion. I want to kind of grab that whole side. Just kind of keep going here, doing a little bit of that. Something like that. I can't help but feel like the legs might be a bit big. Maybe. Well, let me get rid of all this blobby mess, and then we'll kind of figure it out from there. We'll just kind of get the shape going here a little bit. Kind of expand this a little bit. Give this the old leg expansion. Leg expansion pack DLC. Leg muscle edition. New from EA. And I love that DLC. Anyways, we'll just kind of make this a bit thicker as well. Give this the old leg expansion pack. Now on sale for 5 easy payments of $59.99. I'd say that's a steal. Let's kind of smooth this out a little bit. Let's give this the detail it needs now and just kind of smooth it out. Smooth this a little bit. And let's see what we got. I got nice leg muscles here with still a little bit of indication of where like the knee is, for example. We can kind of drag this down a little bit, down and out. Like so. It still feels very blocky. So we're just gonna kind of, and it's probably because the top of the leg looks fine, but the bottom of the leg needs to be way smaller. So we'll just kind of, as well as the feet. The feet need to be way, way the heck smaller. So we're just gonna kind of do that a little bit. It's hard to separate the legs because the grab tool kind of grabs both sides at the same time. But, working with what we got over here. See, that already looks better. As far as this side, though, we gotta have some work done to it. And that's the important thing about modeling, is that you make sure you work from all sides. Make sure you know what everything looks like from all sides of your mesh. Still a bit blobby here, so we'll just kind of smooth it. Smooth it. Especially here, maybe I pulled the knee out a little too far. Just kind of drag that back. And again, nothing needs to be perfect. This is a little bit of a blobby mess. It also looks a little bit blocky. Don't want that. No. We can kind of drag this up a little bit. Just kind of make sure it aligns well with the rest of the muscles here. Oops. And smooth it. Let's add a bit more influence to the smooth. Make sure that gets smoothed nice and good. This is a bit of a problem. Just kind of smooth that out. Still a bit lumpy. I don't get that. Also, I think my music ran out. Give me a sec while I see what's going on there. Oh, it's because we're just in a little bit of a silent part of the song for some reason. Are we? We're not. Oh, there it goes. just start it there. I'm using a no copyright, or so it claims, a little bit of a music thing on YouTube, as you can see on the bottom. That's not from a now playing add-on for the OBS. That's, I just manually typed it in because I still need to install that. So that's fun. Still a wee bit lumpy, but we're getting more of a human shape. Wee bit more of a human shape. Those feet I still have to really work on, but we'll get there. In due time. In due time, we'll get there. Just want to really make sure that these legs aren't blocky looking or blobby looking. We don't want either. I think it's a little bit blobby over here. Now what we can do is, if we don't want to adjust the like the size of the mesh or anything, we just want to add in detail, we can use the scrape. And then actually we want to remove detail, so we'll kind of stand a little bit far away here and just kind of go over it. And then just smooth it out. It still leaves, you know, marks where you scrape it, but when you smooth it out, it kind of goes away. And just kind of over here, do a little bit of that, kind of smooth this out. Beautiful. Let's kind of make sure that these legs aren't like going concave on me or anything. Don't want that. But I also don't want them to be too big, because that's a problem. See, that's all you gotta do is when you just kind of block in your muscles like this, and then you just kind of go in, smooth everything out, and then just make minor adjustments. Doesn't look that bad. Doesn't look too terrible. We can give him a bit more of a pudge going on down here though. He's a bit chubby. He is me when I was 10, admittedly. And also still me now. I'm still not doing the best when it comes to weight management, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm trying to, you know, eat healthier and stuff, but it's, you know, still working on that. Sometimes, you know, you can't resist a good old McDonald's or a good old Wendy's every now and then. Good old Five Guys. I had that just before I left for work. It was really good. I always love me some Five Guys. Really expensive, but always really good. Could never go wrong with Five Guys. It's true. Alright, I think we're looking pretty good in the leg department. Leg/torso department. Kind of bring that back a little bit. Don't need these lines too much. I'll bring this down a little bit. Up. I gotta say, it still looks a little square on this side for some reason. So I suppose how we could solve this, we'll just grab the inflate brush and just kind of use our best judgment. Kind of bring that out a little bit. Not bad, if I do say so myself. We got the arms going. We can kind of smooth out some of the unnecessary protrusions, I suppose. Like that elbow may have been a bit too much. Or actually, we could probably connect the elbow better to that part of the arm by just grabbing the old draw tool and just kind of going at it. Actually, probably the inflate tool will be better. Kind of connect this up a little bit. Move it out. We can always take our grab tool as well. Just kind of pull that part out. Bring it over. A little bit. Little bit. See, it looks good from this side. It's not so bad on this side either. Let's just kind of flatten this out a little bit. Bring this a little bit over. These are some pretty big arms. for a kid who's 10 years old. So, I don't know, let's add in some more detail over here. And it's a bit more manageable, I have to say. That's not so bad looking. I'm just gonna wipe my nose off a little bit. Because again, I'm a sick gamer. Sick little gamer over here. Alright. I'd say that we work on... See, right now we've kind of hit the 3 hardest parts of doing the sculpting here. We hit doing the fingers, the foot, and the face. So right now what I'm thinking of doing is, since we're not really going to see his toes in the game, we're just going to kind of work on the foot first. Because all we want to do is give it the basic shape. And then that's it. It's going to kind of look like he's wearing socks. So that's all you'll probably see. And I know in the game, I might want to have the character wear PJs. I mean, then like, yeah, I don't know, maybe he wears socks, but like, that'll probably be a texture over the foot. Now what we can do is actually we can go in here, is it? Yeah, turn on the floor. That we can make sure that we're not going past. And it doesn't matter if we do or don't. But generally, I just want to make sure that we're not going past the floor here. I'll make it as close as possible. And nothing has to be perfect, like I keep saying. Just kind of make the foot a bit smaller, bring it out. Kind of make the ankle a bit smaller too. But we don't want it to be all square and blocky, so we'll just kind of drag that back in a little bit. Kind of through the little heel here a little bit. Kind of smooth everything. Smooth everything. There we go. Just kind of bring this in a little bit. There's no one way to do this kind of thing, you know. You kind of build up your own process. This is just kind of how I do it. And I haven't been doing modeling for too long. I want to say I started learning it about 2 years ago. It was the old pandemic. Stuck at home, not much else to do. So I decided I might want to start learning how to make a video game, and I learned 3D modeling. And I made a character, and he wasn't great looking, but it's alright. Can't say much of what I'm doing here is great looking either, but you know, this kind of thing is subjective. You just kind of look at it, and no matter what, you kind of always gotta be proud of it, because it's what you made. Literally every single thing that you work on is yours, so you should be proud of it. And it always gets better. That's what I was gonna say. Every single thing you work on always gets better. No matter what. You know, I was watching a lot of Bob Ross. I always like to either have some like nice chill lo-fi like this going on in the background while I'm doing stuff, or I actually like to have Bob Ross on, because quite recently I just started getting into him, and I mean, you can't go wrong with just a nice chill vibe like Bob Ross. I know a couple of days ago, near was it Christmas? I can't remember. We got a recording set up for Mario Paint, and we were trying to follow a Bob Ross tutorial. It was on stream, even my roommate's stream, Cole's Corner. We were doing that over there a little bit. It was a lot of fun. And eventually, just for a little fun thing to do, I might want to do that with this too. Just get a Bob Ross stream going and try and follow one of his paintings in 3D software like Blender. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know. Maybe we'll see about that. And again, I don't care if no one watches or anything. I'm just kind of doing this because I wanna. Even some of the fun streams, like what I was talking about, even if no one watches, who cares? because it'll be a nice little memory to look back on in the future. Be like, that's there, I did that. It'll inspire me to do something fun later. I don't know. Legs are looking a little bit skinny on this side, so we'll just kind of do that. Bring these in a little bit. And I don't know. It doesn't look bad. These are looking a little skinny down here, so we'll just kind of bring this out. It's all the process of just wanting to make the ankle a bit smaller. Ended up making the whole leg skinnier. I want that. Kind of smooth it out. So far, this is actually really relaxing. I was really nervous going into this because I haven't streamed like this in a really long time. So, but like once you get into the flow of things, once you're just like kind of speaking from the top of your head, you don't really pay attention of what's going on. You're just kind of doing it. Almost really therapeutic, you know? It's pretty nice to just chill out, vibe, and work on something. Like have some nice music playing. Really mesmerizing experience because you can just kind of zone out, do whatever you want. And it's very therapeutic. Very nice. This is actually kind of a good sign because I was really worried if I would like get so nervous I'd want to stop streaming like after this one, which thankfully it seems like it's not the case. This is actually making things a bit more calm. Just being able to speak words nonsensically while I'm working on something. It's very nice. Just so you don't have to think. It's kind of, it's like walking and talking, you know? You have two things your mind focuses on, one thing, you know, put your full attention to, the other thing, you're just kind of spewing nonsense, and I don't know, there's just something satisfying about it. I can't really explain it. Just, you know, very, very therapeutic. Nice. So we got the foot shape done, pretty much. Is that what I want for the foot shape? Something like that, maybe. Maybe we can bring the heel out a little more. I'm just kind of eyeballing it with the foot. I still have my reference over there, but I mean, it doesn't have a specific like side view of the foot or anything, so I'm just kind of guessing. Generally, that's what a foot looks like. Again, this is going to be inside of a shoe for the most part anyway, so except for like the few times in the game where he's going to have like PJs on, maybe. He's going to have big ol' socks. So, I don't know. Oops. Maybe that'll work. Something like that. That's kind of what the foot looks like. Next, I think we'll work on the fingers. Even though that's going to be pretty difficult, because with the fingers, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see his fingers. Doesn't matter how you shake it, you're going to be able to see his fingers. So we'll just kind of bring the hand back here a little bit, just to give it room. And then let's start with the thumb. That's probably going to be the easiest. We'll just kind of position our camera that's orbiting around the hand here. And then we'll just give it some detail. We'll use the inflate brush. Just kind of go across it a few times. And then just smooth it out. And then just go across it here a little bit, and then smooth it out. Smooth it out. I'll just kind of go upside down here a little bit. Smooth it out. So for the thumb, there's kind of a, you know what, I could probably pull up a specific, actually no, this reference I'm using actually has a pretty good view of the hand here, so that's going to be helpful. So for the thumb, there's a little bit of a muscle that, well, for the wrist, it kind of crisscrosses around here a little bit. Just a little bit. There's a muscle that kind of goes up here. And then this is like where the hand starts, or where the fingers start. And then there's like little bits of muscles here. Let's kind of draw a muscle for every finger. So there's a muscle. Well, thumb muscle goes like this. Goes around like that, and that's a little pudgy bit that starts out where your thumb is. Let's kind of draw that in. And then let's kind of start drawing where the fingers would go. So there's a finger there, finger there, finger there, and a finger there, roughly. Something like that. Not perfect. It doesn't have to be. And then we'll just kind of expand. Give this the old thumb expansion. 2.0. Sponsored by EA. Beautiful. Just kind of concave this a little bit. Give that hand a little bit of arch. Just kind of go in like this a little bit. Just a little bit. Beautiful. Kind of expand this out a little bit more. I don't want to do it too much. Yeah, that looks good. Looks good. Something like that. Maybe we can use the grab tool. Could just kind of grab this, bring it back a little bit, because that might be a wee bit too much. A wee bit too high. And then we'll just kind of... Using the draw tool will help you define specifically what the shape of the muscle is, and then we can use the inflate tool to kind of expand it so that kind of fills in that little area here, and then where that crease is, you can just kind of smooth it. And then you still have that definition of where the finger starts, but still have it nice and smooth. And you know, you don't want to do it too much, just enough. Just enough. And then, here's the fun part. We're going to use the snake hook tool. And then we're just going to kind of grab from here and just, whoop, there's the thumb. Not like that though. We kind of want it to go this way a little. Something like that. Maybe we could do it a little more. Something like that, roughly. Then we'll use the inflate tool. Bring it up. Bring it up. Something like that. Kind of bring it up on this side too. Then we'll just kind of bring it up here where it connects. Let's kind of bring this up. Then smooth it out. Like that. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of bring this in here. Something like this. So it's not fully covering up where the thumb is. Just gotta kind of smooth this out a little bit more. Now the hand kind of arches up. We'll just kind of make it so. Arch up a little bit. So that we know where the knuckles are. And I think that's our thumb. We can kind of mess with this to make it more round for starters. Kind of give some more detail up here. I think it's a bit too thick going this way and a bit too small going the other way, so we'll just kind of drag this. Kind of flatten out those bumps there. And then here, let's kind of bring this in a little bit. Maybe we can bring it out just a wee bit more. Oh, that might be too much. Bring it back. Maybe we can kind of curve it a little bit just to show where the thumb bends. Make sure the proportions are accurate. Maybe we can bring this in a bit more. Something like that. Something like that. And then we'll just kind of bring this down a little bit. It seems a bit too angly. I don't know how to say it. Maybe it's at the wrist. Or a bit too, I guess lanky would be the correct answer. That's why I want to adjust the wrist here a little bit. So it kind of goes like that. And then maybe it's a bit thicker on this side. I'll just kind of smooth that out a little bit. Something like that. And then let's just bring this in a little bit. I think it kind of sticks out too far from the arm, so we'll just kind of bring this in a little bit. And then as far as the hand goes, we can make that a little bit smaller. I'm just judging based off what I think looks good, and I know that might not be always the right option. That's why I have a reference sheet on the side. But I'm just kind of feeling it out, making sure that it feels nice. I think we can kind of, because the muscle here should kind of start where the thumb is and go in like that, and then same with that side. It shouldn't like jut out over here or anything. So we can kind of concave this area out here. Maybe made that a little bit too big, and kind of convex this area over here a little bit. Now we can use our crease tool, kind of get rid of all this unnecessary protrusion over here. Just kind of smooth everything out with the good old smooth treatment. Beautiful. Beautiful. I think this kind of goes out a little bit too far, so we'll just kind of grab that and smush it in a little bit. Smooth it out. Smooth it out. This smooth tool is a godsend. Tell you what. It's one of the most essential things for when you're doing sculpting here. Just gotta make sure you're using that smooth tool. It always works because there's always, like, no matter what kind of, whether it's lumpy, blocky, jutty, angly, just smooth it out. Just smooth it out. Give it a good old smooth treatment. That's all it needs. Good old smooth. And we'll just kind of bring this in. You know what? Maybe I'll stop futzing with the thumb for now, as I keep futzing with the thumb. It's just like the shape down here, like maybe down here looks fine, but I'm just like, I'm concerned about, because like from some angles it looks flat, from some angles it looks like jutting, but then when I smooth it, it kind of makes it flatter. So I think that's best we're gonna do for now, because we're just gonna, you find out you're futzing maybe a bit too much with one thing, just move on to another thing and come back to it later, because maybe it'll look better in context, you know? Maybe it'll look better in context. The shape of the hand is kind of how the index, or how the fingers look. So as you know, the index finger is a little short, middle finger is the longest, ring finger roughly shorter than the index finger, and pinky's the shortest finger, so you kind of shape the hand a bit that way. And then what we'll do, smooth this out a little bit, and then snake hook time. Take that, just kind of draw out the fingers. Maybe that's a bit too much. Draw out the fingers. Draw out the fingers. Draw the fingers. There we go. That's a good shape. I like that. Maybe something like this. Nope. I'm gonna try and do it as straight as possible. But, you know, nothing's perfect. Nothing will be. Oops. Oh, it's a little crooked. Something like that. Yeah, that works. Kind of looks like a swordfish or something. So let's kind of take the tips of these fingers, Drag them. Oops. Oops. I don't want to like grab the middle and have it curve up again. Kind of drag them down, bring them in. Or you know what, before we do that, it'd probably be easier if we gave them their thickness. So let's grab the inflate tool, kind of give them their thickness. What's nice about the inflate tool is that, for the most part, in any case, it goes around the entire whole snake hook that you did. Don't have to worry about doing it on one side and then going back and doing it on the other. Kind of goes around the whole thing, and then if you feel like you did too much, you just smooth it out. Smooth it out. I'm gonna give these their thickness. Well, smooth it out. Maybe these fingers are a little bit too thick. Let's smooth them out a bit. Maybe the ring finger might be a bit too long, so let's make the index finger a bit longer. Bring this in a little bit. Maybe this is a little bit too thick. Bring that in. And then, what do we got? We got a hand where the fingers go up too much. So let's go ahead and, yeah, it's much easier to bring them down now. Just kind of bring that side down, bring this side down a little bit. Something like that. Not perfect. We'll fix it. Let's just smooth out the top of the hand here, because that's, I think, the most disturbing right now. We'll just kind of get far away with it to give it lesser detail, so you can bring it in, and then kind of go back here, bring this, give this a little bit more detail. Just kind of smooth it out. Let's start working on the insides of these fingers here, because that's a bit too far. Let's bring these back in a little bit. Smooth out that insane little crevice there. Then, fingers are a bit too long. Bring them in. Kind of eyeballing it here. Don't really have much to work off of beside this one reference image I'm looking at, which I should probably find more reference images, but I mean, the side of the hand, you can kind of imagine what it looks like, but I have a reference for the top and bottom view of the hand, so right now that's what's really helping me get through this. These fingers just kind of look really awful, so let's just give this the old expansion treatment. Smooth it out. Oh yeah, this needs to be worked on way more. Something like that. I know the top of the hand kind of curves down and into naturally where the fingers start, so we can kind of make them a bit thicker near where the beginning of the hand is. Then as it goes out, it gets a little bit thinner. So, don't want it to be too extreme, so we can smooth it out. Always smooth it out. Something like that. And I know it actually gets a bit thicker near where the tips of the fingers are too. But not by much. Not by much at all. So we'll just kind of make that happen. Make that a little bit of a dream come true. Something like that. I know that ring finger is looking a bit too long there, just based on the what the index finger looks like, so we'll just kind of bring that out. Just these, smooth. Maybe not that much. Let's kind of smooth the top of that there. And these aren't some bad looking fingers. Let's see it in context with the rest of the model. Not bad, if I do say so myself. I just gotta make the wrist maybe a little bit smaller here. There we go. And now let's futz around with these a little bit more, because that's what we like to do here, is we like to futz. Futzing, that's what we do. It's true. Never be too much futzing, unless, of course, you feel like you're getting burnt out because you're just futzing too much and it just never looks right, which can happen. which is like I said, you feel like you're futzing too much, then just move on to another thing. Because maybe the thing you were futzing with will look better in context. So, that's exactly what I'm doing. And see, now that I have the context of all these fingers, I'm now learning that the thumb is a little bit small. So, we'll just kind of drag this out a little bit. Drag it up a little bit, not by much. Because the thumb kind of goes down a little bit like that. And then we'll just kind of make this a bit bigger. Just a bit. Make it a bit more rounder at the fingertips. And then we'll just kind of whoosh this in a little bit. Beautiful. Now we'll just kind of make this mesh better with the top of the hand here. We can take a draw tool and, because there's kind of bones that go where the fingers are, we can just kind of draw those in. I'm noticing now that the hand may be a bit long, so we'll just kind of take a grab tool, push the whole thing in a little bit. Just kind of push the whole thing. Just like this. And then let's just kind of smooth this out, because that's not what I'm focusing on right now. I'm noticing it's chugging a little bit, so we'll just kind of get rid of some of the detail here. We can make this a little bit bigger. Kind of make that a little bit more flush here. And then just kind of drag these back a bit more. Oh yeah, that's much better. That's much better. Might have had a bit too much detail there. That's another thing too, is you'll know if you have too much detail if your computer starts chugging. Starts chugging while you're moving stuff. It's never good. Don't want your computer to chug. And then we'll just kind of flatten things out a little bit over here. Still got to kind of keep that muscle where the thumb is. That kind of makes things look more natural. And then we'll just kind of make this a bit bigger, smooth it out. Here we go. And then we'll just kind of grab this and then just bring it in like this. And again, I'm just eyeballing it. Not by much, because I do have a reference, but you always want to have a nice reference of the muscle anatomy of the body. Again, even if it's for a stylized character, it's always good to know. I know a lot of art tutorials say that it's good to, especially with stylized characters, it's always good to know the rules before you break them. Say, for example, you're wondering why in your stylized character that the eyes look weird, and you know, well, I deliberately made the eyes bigger because it's stylized, it's my style, you know, makes the character look cuter, whatever it is. Maybe there's something about the eyes that are just a bit off. Maybe they're too big on one end, but like too small, or kind of angle at a point that doesn't make sense. So you always got to know the rules before you break them. And that's why it's good if you're doing like 3D studies to like try, even if it's not gonna look great, doesn't matter. Nothing's perfect. Try some photorealistic renders of characters. Not like photoreal, like you don't have to do like textures or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, make it as accurate to the human body as possible to start, and just see how far you get. Just see how far you get, even if it's not perfect, doesn't matter. Just see how far you get, because that way you'll be learning. You will be learning exactly what the human body looks like, how to adjust it in the specific ways that you need to. And then just kind of do that. I think these fingers aren't looking too bad. Maybe the thumb's a little bit too long. We can kind of bring that in a little bit. Oops, not like that. So the thumb's gonna kind of bend at this point here, sorta. I just hope that's not too long. Maybe we can kind of make that a little bit. Now, one thing that's kind of throwing me off here is I want the top of the hand to be exactly flush with all the fingers, and I'm noticing this ring finger a little bit too small. So we'll just kind of bring that up a little bit. Make that nice and round. That's better. Kind of do the same with the pinky there a little bit. That's better. Definitely better. I'm noticing it's still a bit too long down here, so we'll just kind of futz with that a little bit. Now, I've only been practicing 3D modeling for about 2 years now. So, and this is all literally self-taught experience, like just from YouTube and just doing it myself. Just working on my own characters, other people's characters, just for practice, you name it. So, I should probably state when I start to put this Twitch channel together a bit more, what like the sort of rules are for the stream, but I always welcome criticism and tips. What I don't particularly welcome as much is just useless hate speech or anything like that. I want to keep it a nice chill vibe over here. I don't want anyone saying just out of the blue that they hate what I'm doing here with no reason. You know, I accept any kinds of criticism though, because I want to be able to learn through experience, and I want to possibly be able to learn new techniques for things that I may not have known of, because this is something that I really want to do and I'm enjoying myself doing it. I just want to keep a nice chill vibe on the channel as we're doing it. I don't want anything to ruin the vibe. And so far, I think these fingers are looking pretty decent. Maybe that middle finger is a bit too long there. Bring that in. How are we looking? As far as the whole model goes, not bad. Not too shabby. Go ahead and save it. And now, whew, oh boy, let's work on the face a little bit. I'm just gonna block in most of the details when it comes to the face. I'm not gonna be too specific with it. I'm just gonna kind of pull this up here, kind of bring it off to the side so I know what face I drew. But I'm also gonna still use my human muscle reference, because it's got the muscles of the face on here as well. I want to be able to have that. Oops, mean to do that. It's fine. Let's just start by giving the face way more detail. We'll just kind of drag across, drag around, and just smooth it out. There we go. So, let's kind of get the jaw shape in there. So the jaw, it's kind of like, well, the chin at least. Something like that. Just kind of goes back here a little bit. Kind of goes down. And then maybe there's a muscle that like goes up here and around here a little bit. That's kind of where the cheek is. Doesn't matter. And then we kind of got muscles that like go up here a little bit and then like down here. And that's kind of where the face starts. This muscle kind of goes back here a little bit. And then this kind of where the ear is, just kind of draw in an ear. And what's the back look like? Not much going on in the back. Just kind of muscles that go down here that break up the neck. And we'll we'll just kind of do that a little bit. The rest is smooth as butter. Smooth as butter. We don't have to worry so much about the back of the head, I don't think. We just gotta worry about the face. Something I'm dreading a little bit, but it's not gonna matter. Let's just kind of bring this jaw out a little more. Maybe it goes up here a little bit, smooth it out. Smooth it out. Kind of bring this down a little bit. I don't know. Smooth. Some of these muscles up here need to be smoothed a little bit. Oops. Did not mean to grab that. Kind of smooth that out a little bit. Alright, we got a jaw. Sort of. Beautiful. Let's draw a mouth. Actually, before we draw the mouth, let's draw the eyes. Eyes are gonna go roughly it's a here-ish. We're just gonna kind of draw out a little bit, little eye sockets, and this is where eye drawing is gonna come in, because I don't know exactly how big these eyes are gonna be. And they're not that big, but they're pretty big. He's a 10-year-old boy. He's got pretty big eyes. We'll just kind of do that. It's kind of where the eye sockets are. I'll bring that in a little bit. Draw where the nose is going to be. Going to go about, oh yay big. Something like that. And then mouth is going to start here. Kind of be like that a little bit. We'll just kind of draw the top lip. And then let's grab our crease tool and just kind of crease where the mouth is going to be a little bit. Something like that. Not perfect, but it'll do. It'll do. Do something like that. Make that top lip a little bigger. Now the lip, specifically, I need my muscle reference for. We'll just, oops. We'll just kind of go to where mouth is. So the top lip is something like this. The bottom lip kind of goes here. Kind of goes down here a little bit. It's all smooth, meshed into where the face is. So it's something like that. You want to be able to have clearly protruding lips from the side, but from the front, that focal point must be where the mouth crease is. You don't want to be able to see the lips from the front. You want to just be able to see the mouth. Because otherwise it looks kind of weird. At least that's what I think. You can kind of extrude this out a little. If you could see the lips from the front, it just kind of looks extra pouty, you know? At least that's what I think. My experience doing this kind of thing. We can kind of give that a little, I don't know what this is called, but we'll kind of give that in there a little bit. Just a little indication of it. Gonna drag this mouth down a little bit. Maybe that's too much on the smoothing. Maybe we can use the grab tool, kind of bring this up. Bring these corners down a little bit. He's a bit of a serious kid. You know, he's a little shy, socially awkward. Doesn't talk much. That's what his friend's for. Now, I don't know how I'm gonna write his friend into the story, but he's a bit more outgoing, a little bit more social. The story is basically, you know, you're this kid, and you're just spending time with your friends, you know, whatever. And then you go to your dad at your research facility for, like, I don't know, take your son to work day. And then you find this weird thing in a little capsule. And you're like, huh, that's weird. And he's like, yeah, that's the thing I've been researching the most. That's the weird glowy amulet project. We're trying to find out what this weird glowy amulet does. And no one can put it on. It just repels anyone who tries to put it on. And then Jimmy puts it on, and he's able to. Then he gets transported to another world. Then you can choose to either explore that world, or you could just go to where the big building is in that world, and that'll teach you how to get back. There's going to be some story elements to that. Meanwhile, this mouth ain't looking too bad. With context to the rest of the face, though, it's not great. So we'll just kind of bring out his chin here a little bit, kind of bring out his jaw. Gotta do that a little bit. Down here, just kind of bring it out. And again, you want to view everything from all angles. That's important with 3D. It's not just one angle. You're not looking at a 2D screen. You're looking at a full 3D model, so you gotta know if it looks good from all sides. It's got too much of a square jaw here, so let's kind of bring this in a little bit. Bring this up. Now we want to give him a little bit of a pudgy cheek situation, so we'll add that in. Kind of over here, maybe. Something like that. It's not perfect. We'll just kind of smooth that out a little bit. I don't want to give him cheek bones, I just want to give him little pudgy cheeks. Kind of be that? Something? Oh yeah, that looks better. Now this chin might be jutting out a bit too harshly, so we'll just, let's give some definition down here, I think. We need a little bit of detail to where it connects to the neck here. So we'll just kind of add that in. Maybe drag this down a little bit. There we go. That's better. Now we're not giving him a incredibly sharp chin. So we'll just kind of smooth that out a little bit. Now we're kind of losing a little bit of detail with that bottom lip, but we'll fix that in a sec. So we'll just kind of do something like that. Maybe bring this up a little bit. I don't know. I have some reference here of some more faces. We'll just kind of see how it looks. Sorta. And maybe, like I said, if you're futzing around too much with something, you just move on to something else and worry about it later. So let's worry about the nose for now. Let's see. The nose kind of goes out. This, and then maybe that's a bit too much. Goes down, and then let's see. Kind of got one of these going. That's where the nostrils at. And let's just kind of make this bigger. Do the seal expansion. Don't want to make it too big up here. Want to make it look weird. Bring this out. And then let's just kind of bring this up a little bit. Bring this down. Don't want to give him a witch's nose. That wouldn't look right. And then we'll just kind of do that. These nostrils are a bit too much here. Make this a little bit thicker. Move it out. Then that's going to be kind of the tip of the nose there. And then nostrils kind of look like that. That's maybe a bit too big. Maybe like this. A little too big. Maybe like that. I don't know. Let's just kind of maybe like this. And smooth it out. I don't want to give him a Wario nose either. Don't want to make these nostrils too big. We'll just kind of bring this down and in, and you know, whatever feels right. Whatever feels correct for a nose to look like. And it's kind of hard because it's kind of got a weird shape here. This is why doing the face is one of the hardest things. Because with the face, that's the thing you recognize. in a person. Everyone's got a unique, distinctive face that is how you recognize people. So it's always hard to know exactly what you want your character's face to look like. So, it's never going to be perfect. Never will be. But you know, that's just something you gotta accept. Nothing's perfect. Everything has flaws here and there. That's what makes you special. There we go. Now, we'll just kind of give them little nostrils. See how that looks. The nostrils kind of go in like this. Nostrils aren't small, exactly. They're pretty big. At least that's what I think. But again, I don't want to give him a Wario nose, so we'll just kind of add a little bit more in here. Now they only look big because I'm this close to the nose. No one's ever really gonna get a good look at his nose to be like, hey, the nostrils aren't perfect. 0 out of 10 game. Nostril detail needs to be fixed. That'd be ridiculous if something like that happened, so you don't gotta make it perfect. You don't want to make it too obvious either, you know? Like, I'm sure it would be a problem if the nostrils were like half of his face, you know? Then it would be a bit noticeable. You want to give it just the right amount of detail where it's not noticeable if anything's innately wrong with it, but it's also not noticeable that he has lack of features, you know? Like, it would be weird if I just decided not to give him nostrils at all. Unless I decided to, like, give him a nostril texture or something. But, like, you still need nostrils on your character. Because otherwise it'll look weird. Otherwise you'll be like, that'll be the one thing that points out to you, you know, like, hey, why do all these characters have flat noses, you know? How are they going to be able to smell stuff? That's what gets you immersed in a game, I guess, is not noticing if there's any inaccurate details in the person, but you don't gotta spend too long on it. I guess that's my whole point, is here I am spending all this time on nostrils, and it's like no one's ever gonna look too closely on nostril details. And what was your favorite part about your Node Sandwich stream? I like the part where you talked about nostrils for a long time. That's my favorite part. We're almost done with the nostrils. I always like the futz around. Actually, it looks pretty good, except for the nose. Kind of looks a bit square. So we're just gonna fix that a little bit. I'm gonna kind of give it some roundness and then smooth out the sides. There we go. I'm getting a phone call here, but it's scam likely. That's what that noise was, in case you heard it on stream. Anyway, just getting the shape of the nose right. Honestly, not bad. That is not a bad looking nose. Kind of like the look of that nose there. That is a pretty solid nose, if I do say so myself. Just gonna save it. And now that I have context for the lips, I could see that maybe the lips aren't fully full enough. We can just kind of give some thickness to the lips there, especially the bottom lip. That's what I noticed. The lips don't look too bad either, I gotta say. The lips look pretty decent on this character. And we're not worried about the inside of the mouth yet. We will get to the inside of the mouth when we do the retopology. So normally the process for this kind of thing goes is you do your base model, your base mesh, then you kind of sculpt on top of it. Has to get all your details in. And then you do what's called retopology, which is basically you go over your entire mesh with planes. The reason you do that, because when you're sculpting, you are using millions and millions of vertices to get the exact amount of detail that you want, which isn't going to fly, especially on a game engine. So you do what's called retopology. And I know there's sources out there that'll do it automatically, but there's something therapeutic about doing it yourself. Besides, you got to spend money on that kind of thing, and it's like, I'm not gonna worry about that at all. Just gonna kind of do my own thing here. See, this is why you gotta view your model from every angle, because the lips look fine on the top left and right views, but on the bottom views, it kind of looks weird. So I'm just kind of bringing this in a little bit. Maybe bring this out a little more. And then what we can do is, after we smooth it, we can kind of take the old flatten tool and just kind of give it some flatness here. Looks good. And then we can kind of do the same thing up here as well. Just kind of have it mesh with the face a little bit better. Smooth it out. Smooth, smooth, smooth it out. That's better. That's better. Then what we can do for the bottom lip is we can kind of do something similar. And just make this mesh with the mouth a little bit more. Gonna bring it down here. Give this some thickness. Something like that. How we looking? Maybe we can bring that top lip down a little bit more over the bottom lip. Just to kind of make it not look so pouty. There we go. Well, now I'm noticing his mouth is a bit small on this side. I'm noticing that he has a bit too much fullness on that bottom lip there. So we can just kind of bring that back a little bit, and then maybe we can add in some more detail on that upper lip. It's kind of like this, kind of like that. It's kind of the shape of it. Just gotta kind of bring back that shape, give it some thickness. I think I was worrying too much about the sides. I wasn't worried so much about the front, then the front got all messed up. So we're just gonna kind of go in and fix it a little bit. Make some minor adjustments here and there, here and there. Maybe it's a bit too low on the face, so we can just kind of bring that up a little bit. From the side, doesn't look so bad. Doesn't look so bad. Maybe what I can do is I can come in here, maybe push this into the face a little bit more, and then kind of bring out that chin a little bit. Not too much. Just enough. And then maybe what we can do is we can kind of bring this back a little bit and smooth it out. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, maybe that was my problem. I just needed to bring this mouth back a little bit. And we could still get that cheek fullness by just getting the old flake brush and just kind of going at it. There we go. Just kind of smooth it out. And we can kind of bring some fullness to that jaw by bringing this down here. And then just kind of pushing these together. Give it some smoothness. Looks better. I don't know how I feel about this side view yet. Noticing now that that ear, that temporary ear I put is way too far back. Just kind of do that. I'm noticing maybe the face is a little bit too long, so what we can do is we can just kind of grab this whole thing. Oh, that's a bit too smushed. Don't like that. Don't want that. Maybe we can bring this out a little bit and then push this in just a wee little bit. Just a little bit. It's a bit chuggy. Oh, that's too much. want that. Then we could just kind of bring this back just a little bit. Something like that. And I'm thinking maybe the eyes can come back a little bit more. Cheeks can come back a little more. Jaw can come in a little more. Oops. Since it's a bit chuggy, it's a little bit hard to control when I let go of face a little bit. And we'll just kind of smooth it out a little bit. Let's get the old crease tool and sort of find the mouth a little bit better. There we go. Kind of bring some detail back on the lip. There we go. Beautiful. Maybe you want to see the lip a little bit from the front view, but not much. Don't want it to look pouty. That's just what I'm trying to focus on here. Maybe something like that. Oh boy. Yeah, sometimes with the Blender and retopology, sometimes when you're like going in for like really fine details, sometimes Blender just likes to go, hey, what if we give you the lowest amount of detail possible? And I'm like, no, that doesn't help much. You just kind of undo it. Undo it till it looks good. Let's kind of bring these cheeks back a little bit. It's a bit too creased on that end. Kind of smooth it out. Bring these back a little more. So I was saying earlier that the smooth brush does not add any detail. The grab brush doesn't add any detail either. It just kind of grabs whatever you already have and then you can adjust it, which is helpful because again, the kind of brush that you don't want to add as much detail with. You're just gonna kind of want to take what you already got and then move it around. Whereas with the draw brush, it sort of expands the area you're working on and to compensate adds detail for it. It's the kind of brush that you do want to have add detail for. So we'll just kind of smooth that out. It's good. We're looking a bit lumpy. Not a fan of the lumpiness. Kind of looks like an alien a little bit. We don't want our character to look like an alien. And also we lost a little bit of definition in those eyes, so we'll just kind of... Now, these are the eye sockets. These aren't the actual eyes. What we're gonna do later is we are going to... Actually, let's probably do this right now, because I keep futzing with things. Let's just give some fullness to the back of the head here, and then we'll start it. What we're gonna do is we are going to add eyeballs. Then you're going to adjust the shape of the eyelids according to the eyeballs. And just for the eyeballs temporarily, we are going to go back into layout mode. And then we'll just add UV sphere. I'm gonna add a sphere, maybe. I don't think I clicked it good enough. UV sphere. And it doesn't matter how many vertices it has or anything. We're just gonna rotate it 90 degrees. Gonna bring this up here. And then just sort of bring it to where the eyes are. And then just kind of adjust accordingly. These are essentially going to be the shape of the eyes themselves because we are basically compensating for the eyelids based on this specific eyeball. So you want to make sure it's a good shape. So maybe something like this. Maybe that'll work. Something like that. So, go back to sculpting. Just gotta make sure our actual model's selected. Make sure to re-enable dynamic topology. And then let's give them some eyelids. Got the word there for a second. We'll just kind of drag it out like this. And then to the bottom, we'll just kind of drag it out like that. Now you want a top and a bottom eyelid. Now the top eyelid you may remember, but you may forget that you also have access to a bottom eyelid, which is important because the bottom eyelid gives the bottom of the eye more fullness and more thickness. And if you don't have that, then it just kind of meshes in with the face too much, and then it'll look like something's off. You want to make sure you pay as much attention to the bottom eyelid as you do with the top. You just don't want to forget that. So we'll just kind of make it look as decent as possible here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then we'll just kind of bring in the shape of the eye here, because I made these eyes a little bit small, which is okay because this is roughly the size of the eyes that I want for my character anyway. And then we'll just kind of drag this in a little bit. You want to make sure it looks good on both sides. Don't forget. Do not forget. So when the eyes are fully open, it's gonna look something like this. And then we can get rid of some of those bumps and bruises by using the inflate brush. A little bit more thickness. There we go. Something like that. Then kind of making them thicker than we need to, because what we're going to do here in a sec, and the bottom eyelid kind of goes down a little bit. Kind of goes down and over here a little bit. So we'll just kind of make sure of that as we bring this out a little more. And it seems like we're bringing this out way more than we need, but it'll work in the end. It'll work in the end because what I'm about to show you, just a second. We're just going to bring these up a little bit. And then what we do is we take this and we futz around with it more because we just can't help ourselves. And then we take actually, let's take the grab tool and just kind of shape the eyelid a little more, just to kind of not give so much of an inside preview of the eye here. And maybe this can come back a little bit. All angles, don't forget. Don't forget, all angles. Check all your angles. Make sure you haven't forgotten any angle that could make your model look worse than it needs to. Because you don't know how the camera is going to operate in the thing you're making, and you don't want the camera to show a really awkward side of the model that'll be like, hey, that looks weird. But you don't gotta be paranoid about it either. You just kind of, because it's like, what are the odds of the camera getting a view of the model from this angle, you know what I mean? So anyway, what I was going to show you is you take the old flatten brush, then kind of go under here and you flatten, and you give it nice and get it nice and flat, so that when the eyelids close, they'll have something to smush onto. And you just kind of do the same for the bottom, and it kind of gives it more shape. Kind of gives it more shape. And what we can do is we can kind of drag this up a little bit, just futz around with it a little more. There, it's right. Now, the face is a really hard part of the body to do because of what I said earlier. It's the most recognizable part. But the hardest part of the face are the eyes. Because the eyes are what you look into most when people are talking to you. When you're talking to someone, you may be looking all over the place, you know, doing whatever, but when someone's talking to you, 9 times out of 10, well, more like 6 times out of 10, you're looking at their eyes. 4 times out of 10, you're looking at their mouth, which is 2 most important parts of the face. But the eyes are really important. So you want to get the shape just right. You want to make sure there's not anything wrong with them. And 9 times out of 10, that is how you recognize someone, is because of the shape of their eyes. That's what makes up really half of the face, even if it doesn't look like it. Like, the eyes maybe don't take up half of the entire face physically, but mentally, it takes up about half the face, the other half taken up by the mouth. That's just generally how a person looks. So those are the most important things when you're modeling something. And now taking a closer look out here, we can see that the eyelids look good, but they don't mesh well with the rest of the face, so we'll just kind of compensate for that by just giving this side a little bit more thickness, kind of smooth it out. Give this a little bit more fullness, smooth it out. Make this mesh better. And honestly, not looking too bad. Not looking too bad at all. Let's see what the side looks like. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Let's just bring this in a little more. Now, on the face, let me just look at my muscle reference real quick. Face kind of has muscles where the eyelids are, but also sort of up here a little bit, where the eyebrows go, and kind of where it meshes in with the rest of the face. We'll just kind of give that some definition. There we go. Something like that. Looks a bit lumpy. We're gonna have to fix that. Let's just kind of get rid of some of the detail here by just doing this from really far away, and then just kind of giving it some smooth. Give it a little smooth. Something like that. Oops, that may be too little detail. Don't want that. Kind of, as far as this jaw goes, we can kind of bring this in a little bit more. And then let's give some more definition to those lips, because I kind of accidentally made them a bit too little detailed. Smooth it out. And then let's give definition to that mouth again. There we go. Just like that. Just like that. Let's kind of give this some more shape. Something like that. And at this point, I'm just kind of futzing. Just kind of futzing. Making sure we're not so lumpy. One thing. And making sure that it looks right. I'll bring this in a little bit, bring that out. I don't know, something like that, maybe. Who knows? Who really knows? Gosh, at this point I'm probably supposed to be ending stream right about now because I said I'd stream for about 2 hours. But, you know, you just get so into a thing, you just sometimes can't find a way to stop. That's okay. It's okay. You just kind of keep going here a little bit. Just keep futzing. Just keep futzing. I'm probably gonna add the ears a little bit. And then I'll probably end stream. I'm noticing we're a little bit of a pinching here where the two eyelids meet. Just kind of fix that a little bit. While not making it too round, of course. Looks alright. Maybe the nose is a little bit too pointy. You can kind of fix that. Just keep the detail we have and just make it a bit more round there. Well, as we kind of bring this in. Something like that. And I gotta say, doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad at all. And here's a boy. Here's a boy. He doesn't have any ears yet, but here's a boy. Ooh, baby. I still want to add ears before I go to bed. I'm gonna be sleeping for a little bit. Oh, baby. Give him some ears. I need some ear reference, but first, let's kind of bring the face in a little bit here. Front. Back we can just smooth out a little bit. Not too much. Bit. Looks fine. There's a boy. Let's add in some ears. So the ears are gonna kind of go, I kind of need an ear reference because, while not as important and recognizable, still has a really complicated shape that I want to get right. So, ear reference, here we go. Let's just grab an image off Google and see what we got. Let's grab this image of the left ear because that's what I'm going to be working on. So we'll just kind of drag that into the old reference sheet pile here. Beautiful. Now, the shape kind of goes top of the ear, where the top of the eyes are, bottom of the ear, bottom of the mouth. Kind of halfway where the face goes lengthwise. So we'll just kind of start here and just draw something like that. Something like that. There we go. That's roughly what the shape of the ear is. And then it kind of goes out. Oops. It goes out from the body like that. So we'll just do that a few times. Smooth it out from the front, make sure it looks right. And we'll kind of come in the back here and just kind of concave this a little bit. Something like that. Looks pretty, pretty good. Pretty good if I do say so myself. Oops. As we're smooth, we'll kind of mesh this side with that part of the face, and we'll mesh this side with this part of the ear. Let's kind of get a bigger brush here and add a bit more detail. There we go. Looks nice, bit lumpy. That's fine. We can have lumpy a little bit. Just a little bit of lump. We don't mind a little bit of lump, so it kind of goes in like that. And then this part kind of comes out around here or so, and then comes in here. Then this is kind of where the earlobe sits. Just like that. Something like that. Let's kind of smooth this a little bit. Kind of define the shape a little more. And then let's kind of concave this area here because the earlobes kind of hang. Just a bit. Just a bit. Let's kind of make this a bit more round. And again, same thing with the nostrils, is you want to make sure it looks right. Otherwise, someone will call it out. Be like, hey, that doesn't look right. Looks a little weird. Even if it's just nostrils or just, you know, the ear. The ear arguably more important than the nostrils, but still, not as often visible. You want to make sure it's right, because it'll look weird if it's out of place. And it's like what's so important about getting the exact way of the ear to look right. Well, if you ever look at a character with a weird looking ear, then something you'll be able to notice. Whereas something with this, you want to be able to not have to notice it. That's the goal. It's just kind of there. It's an ear. And it's fine. Don't pay too much mind to it. It's just an ear. That's the goal we're trying to achieve. So just kind of make sure the earlobe looks right. Something like that. Looks fine, maybe a bit droopy. Maybe that's a bit better. And then we can kind of bring the shape up like this a little bit. Maybe bring this down a little more. Yeah, it looks a bit better. Let's focus on the inside of the ear now, as we kind of futz with this a little bit more. Actually, you know what? Let's kind of take our crease tool and just kind of make sure we got that kind of concaveness going on over here, because the ear sticks out of the back of the head like this. So we'll just kind of make sure that happens. Get some definition back here. Make sure this ear knows its place. There we go. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit. There we go. All right, inside of the ear, what's it look like? We got a little bit of this going on, a little bit of that going on, as it kind of connects down here a little bit, and then it just kind of wraps around like this or so. Kind of connects to the earlobe a little bit. So we'll just draw in some of this, some of that, and make it a bit thicker. A bit thicker. We smooth it out. Here we go. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. We'll work with it. And then this kind of goes in like this, and then this is where the actual hearing canal goes. Just kind of make an indication of that, like so. And then this kind of covers it a little bit. So we'll just do that. Just like so. And then, all right, let's smooth everything out. Everything out. Give this a bit more detail. Smooth it out. Smooth it out. Just like this. And then let's kind of give a bit more shape to this. Smooth it out. Give it more detail. Whatever you need. Whatever you feel. Whatever feels right. Whatever feels fit. Whatever does it feel as not uncanny as possible. Even if it looks a little bit uncanny, that's okay. Because nothing's perfect. Nothing at all. And it doesn't gotta be. Doesn't gotta be. Heck, I probably would have gotten away with just doing the basic shape of the ear and nothing else, you know? But I do the ear because I care. That's a yearbook quote. I do the ear because I care. Maybe not a yearbook quote, but a quote for something, that's for sure. I don't know what kind of quote that would be, but figure it out. Alright. Let's kind of bring this up here a little bit. Just kind of using the draw tool. Just making sure we got those shapes in, pressing the control key to make sure we got those lines in, and this kind of goes out like that, but it kind of stops there. This is all kind of flat. This all is kind of one shape here, so we'll just kind of make sure that fits right as we smooth it out. And as such, I think we got an ear maybe. I just look at a couple more references here, make sure it doesn't look too weird, and it kind of does, especially here. This just kind of doesn't like cave in like that. It kind of goes out flush like this. So let's kind of fix that. We smooth it out. And there we go. Make sure it looks good from all angles. That's important. That's important. Doesn't look great from this angle, so we'll just kind of make this a little bit bigger. Smooth it out. Something like that. Let's kind of make this not look so warbly. So we smooth this out a bit. Maybe it's a bit too big on this side. Just kind of give it some smoothness. A little bit of smoothness going on here. Now, a big part of what's making this look a little bit weird is that it actually kind of goes out this way a bit more than I've drawn it. So let's kind of make that happen. Kinda goes as far as to say that these kind of connect more. I think that's what I'm missing. So let's make that happen. Let's make that happen. As much so we can kind of do this, smooth it out, and then that kind of connects to the earlobe a little bit. And then what we can do, we can take a crease brush and give the indication. It kind of keeps going, and then it kind of stops near the ear, or the earlobe. And we can make the influence a little bit bigger as we kind of draw this in. There we go. Just like that. Just like that. Kind of make this a bit bigger. Smooth it out. Problem I'm having here is it looks a little bit too warbly. So that's just kind of what I'm trying to focus on right here. It's kind of making it so that when I smooth it out, it doesn't smooth out too much. Maybe what I should probably do is I should probably reduce the influence of the smoothness a little bit. That'd probably be a good idea. And this kind of keeps going out like this. Maybe this is a bit thicker. Something like that. It's a bit much right now, I have to admit. That's okay. We're here to fix it. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why it might not be looking too good is because this actually goes underneath here. These little bits out here, so let's kind of make this a little bit bigger as we sort of kind of take our crease tool and kind of make it go underneath here a little bit. Give this a bit more definition. Just like so. Just like so. And then come around, bring this back here, give this a bit more definition. Looks very warbly and very lumpy. Let's take a smooth tool, lower the influence. Oh, that's much better. Probably should have done that earlier. Just lower the influence a bit. Make it so that it's not as impactful. Which for something as small as this is gotta be very useful. Very useful. As a matter of fact, this might be coming out a bit too much. That might be why it looks like a bit much. Let's move this back in a little bit. Just a bit. Just a bit. As a matter of fact, we can probably bring this up a bit more. Just kind of make it not as much as it is currently at the moment. Because as much as the extra bits of the ear are important, stand out a bit. If it's too much, we'll just kind of draw that back a little bit. Just a bit. And again, nothing's perfect. When we go into the retopology for this thing, probably not even going to see as much detail as I'm trying to do here, and that's okay. What matters is what looks right to you. This is starting to look right to me at this point, as I just keep futzing with it. That's okay. You can futz as much as you need to as long as it looks right. But you don't want to futz too much because you kind of get into the zone a little bit. And then you may end up making things look worse than you need to because you're just putting so much attention into it. You think it never looks right. So at some point you just got to take a step back and look at the entire thing and say, make a judgment from there. And I gotta say, doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. If we look at this from the full model perspective, we can just kind of make some adjustments based on what I think the front view looks like. Kind of pull this out a little bit. Whew, hand's falling asleep a little bit. That's okay. I should be too. I should be getting to sleep here pretty soon. And I think that looks pretty good. As I keep futzing with it, as we just shoot. Give this a bit more definition here. We smooth it out. What time is it? Oh, it's 10:30. Goodness. Could have ended a half hour ago. That's okay. Almost done here. Pretty soon. Maybe for the next stream I will do some more futzing. Make sure things look right. And then maybe we'll get to the retopology. Because what we got here ain't bad. Except for maybe a little bit of a square jaw going on here. We can kind of fix that a bit. There we go. Oh, why are we dimpling in here? Why are we doing this? What is this? What is this? Let's not have that. Let's not have that. Get that out of here. We don't want that. Looks a little weird. That's okay. We can fix it. We can fix it. Alright. Honestly, not bad at all. Not bad at all. And maybe if I decide to stream tomorrow, I might futz with it more, but for now, it doesn't look bad. Another important thing too is if you feel like you're futzing too much and you spent too much time on one thing, you just gotta put it down and then see how it looks the next day. And then with a clear head, you'll be able to tell what things you might need to fix, what things truly look good to you. And this doesn't look bad from just doing this in one day, you know? Because as a reminder, this is what we started with, and then this is what we sculpted it into. In the span of about 1.5 hours-ish. So let's see, I think I started sculpting it around 9-ish. So, yeah. I gotta say, I think it came out well. I'm just gonna save it before anything happens. And I think I'm gonna end stream. So if you're here, thanks for watching. If you're watching the VOD of this, thanks for watching. I hope I can keep going with this and maybe make something out of it. Because the next stream might already be the retopology. And then after that, we could start doing the fun stuff, like putting on clothing, doing some texturing, and making this look truly like the thing that I need it to be. So thank you for watching, and I suppose I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.